too windy. Bad hair? What? What the fuck? It's just, it's just shower hair. That's all, dude. Car salesman Paul. Hey, what's it gonna take for me to get you into a 2018 Avalanche today? Okay, what kind of price range are you and your wife capable of making? How's your credit? How's your credit? Doesn't matter what the answer is, we can work with you. Hmm? Hmm? Let's get you sitting in this new car, man. Makes you feel like a new man, doesn't it? The 2018 Avalanche. What? Who makes the Avalanche? Oh yeah, Greased Lightning, dude. Can you pay in pubes? Yes, we have a pube plan. I'm looking like a mafia boss. I've never seen a mafia boss with a beard like this. They don't do that. They keep their shit trimmed up, you know. I mean, go look at any movie with a mafia boss in it and tell me you find one with a big fucking Grizzly Adams beard. It just doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't fit, at least not in my mind. A homeless mafia boss, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, bro. What you just said makes no sense. Well, Paul Big Boss Parkiano, yeah. The Parkiano crime family. All right. Every last one of you listen up, okay? Because I'm definitely not a fan of repeating myself. This thing of ours works because there are fucking rules. There are rules, you see. And we follow those rules because we got centuries of tradition telling us that this is how this thing survives. When one of you fucking hotheads goes off and starts making moves on your own without telling me, let alone cutting me in, you're breaking the rules. And see, I'm the nun with the ruler. And if I don't come along and crack you on the fucking knuckles, then who's gonna stop the next guy from taking advantage? You know? Paul Soprano, yeah. I have it actually. I have it, Galen. I caught it on Monday when we filmed. So, sinus infection, hacking cough, up all night last night because my throat gets all nice and plugged up. Like a good solid chest and head cold. It is bad. Yeah, you're right. I get these kind of like sinus infections quite often, so I'm used to feeling like this. But yeah, Dynort. Yeah, just like a summer cold or whatever. I've got like a scratchy throat and whatnot. This is not a new haircut. I just combed my hair after I got out of the shower. We're having a nice slow day at work. That's good. Slow days at work are, I don't know, sometimes they suck. Because, like, say what you want about a busy day at work, but that day goes by way faster than a slow day does. I mean, it's cool to have a relaxed pace for a little while, but oh my God, dude, I'm not even answering that question. Just go meld with your girlfriend and quit being a dork. Looking like Ray Winstone from The Departed. Oh yeah, Mr. French. Yeah. Yeah, he was cool in the movie. He got punked though, really bad, several times throughout the film. So do you think having sexual experiences with boys as a boy makes one inherently bisexual? No. I just think that having as many as I did, as repeatedly as I did, and then having that desire carry over through puberty probably makes a man bisexual. Or at least is a good line of reasoning to take when trying to decide. What's the most beautiful nature area, park, whatever you've seen in person? Yosemite in California. And it's actually the only answer to give worldwide. I mean, there are some beautiful places on this planet, but none of them stack up to Yosemite in terms of just sheer natural beauty and like the might of nature being on display and shit. Like I said, no disrespect. There's some beautiful places on the planet, but Yosemite National Park in California is the most concentrated natural beauty that you'll find anywhere on the globe. But you haven't had any relationships with guys in your adult life. That's weird, dude. I've been closeted my entire adult life. Part of being closeted is that you don't have relationships with guys because outwardly you present as a straight dude. What's hard to understand about that? I came out like 3-4 weeks ago, like less than a month ago. I'm 38. It's sad though. I feel like those beautiful places like that are going to get destroyed by our shitty government. Well, our shitty government has a national parks program that actually preserves places like that. Now, maybe eventually they'll rescind those laws, but for right now, there are very, very strict rules about what you can bring into and out of those places. There are literal armies of park rangers whose job it is to make sure that people don't destroy those places and to clean those places up after people have used them and to keep them as close as possible to their natural state. So say what you want about the government, but that was a good move. Places like Yellowstone National Park and Yosemite National Park and Redwood National Park in California, which is another place that you absolutely have to see if you want to be humbled by nature. Standing at the base of the General Sherman tree is something that every human being should do once in their life. If you want to get an idea of just how immeasurably small and insignificant you are, stand at the base of the largest tree on the planet and look up at it. That's in Redwood National Park in California, another one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Just being in a redwood forest alone is a humbling experience that everybody should experience, but standing at the base of the General Sherman is like life-changingly weird. It'll make you feel so insignificant, and if you've got that capacity to feel awe at nature. Do you still have the tape of you and your friend talking to the alien? I don't. He might, or sorry, she might. If anybody has it, I would guess it would be her mom. Her mom probably has a stack of videotapes of Me and John doing all kinds of little skits and shit. So, what? What are you watting about? Do they still have the trees on the roads you drive through? Yes, they do. Isn't it really sad or so destructive as to need park rangers to keep the place clean and alive? Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, it's one of those like more authoritarian government policies where it's like, you know, hey, this is just out in the woods, but you can't be trusted. You, all of you cannot be trusted to treat this properly. So we're going to set up a fucking bunch of laws and an army to protect it. So it's one of those authoritarian style policies that was sorely needed in this country because, yeah, human beings would absolutely shit up and burn down a place like that. Have no respect. So you got to legislate respect. You know, you can't force people's parents to raise them correctly, to have proper respect for their environment and for other people. So you got to make laws that enforce respect. And that's basically it, man. The dictator look. Is that what this is? Like, I really would have fucking put my hat on if I'd thought that my hair was gonna be like such a topic. You guys never comb your hair back when you get out of the shower while it's drying and shit? It's something you guys never do. Yeesh. Oh man. I really wish I could stop mouth breathing. I really wish I could breathe out of my nose. Ugh. So gross. Thanks a lot, TJ. Thanks a lot, TJ, you vector of disease, you. Ugh. Gross is right, man. I'm sorry you guys are having to hear this snotting and disgusting bullshit. But I don't know, that's just where I'm at. Plague rat TJ indeed, dude. Scurried onto the slave ships. What movie is this from, dude? I'll give like I'm gonna give you guys a quote. If you can tell me what movie it's from, I'll give you, I don't know, I'll give you 5 internet points if you can tell me what movie this is from. Hold on, I've got to remember the exact quote because I don't want to mess it up. All right, here we go. Here we go. Line from a film. First person to say which film it's from, 5 internets. You ready? Word has it is that all the rats came scurrying off the slave ships and raped all the little tree monkeys. Eh? Eh? It's a direct quote and a pretty good performance of the line as well. Oh, there it is, dude. There it is. Somebody got it already. I'll give both of you guys 5 internets. So Harpon Quandrax Marks got Dead Alive, which is true, and Brainius Bulky got Brain Dead. So there's actually 2 names for the movie that are acceptable. So both of you guys, 5 internets apiece. Write it down. Write it down. I don't know, that line just came into my head when somebody called TJ a plague rat. Yeah, Dead Alive / Brain Dead is one of the movies that everybody should see once in their lifetime, especially fans of horror. You owe it to yourself to see that film. Yeah, the Sumatran rat monkey, yeah. Lionel, take me home. Get out of here, Jeff Jefferson. That didn't happen to you. That whole laced joint thing is a meme. Yeah, people do lace joints, but nobody's gonna waste. Like, let's say, like, here's what like. They can lace joints with PCP or angel dust, right? Nobody's gonna waste some fucking angel dust just to meme on somebody. It's a joke. And you know when it started? It started with that movie Friday that came out. That's when the meme really took start. When everybody started saying that they got laced, was in that movie Friday, because that's exactly what happens to what's his name, Smokey, in that movie. Smokey's with that Mexican drug dealer guy that he knows, and they're smoking out, and they sneak him a laced, like a PCP joint or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it was there before Friday, but I'm telling you, that's when I started hearing stories from everybody I knew that they had a laced joint. All of a sudden, oh yeah, dude, one time I was smoking and I got a laced joint. Yeah, there's another. I mean, there's the movies have kept reinforcing it, because you're right. There's that fucking scene in Training Day where he makes him smoke that bowl, and then he's like, "Didn't know you like to get wet, though." But out there in the real world, nobody's wasting PCP. Just doesn't happen. Didn't happen to you. Doesn't happen to anybody. Kylie Jenner said she wants me. All right, cool. Send her over here. I'll bump that man booty. I'm sure you've laced joints. That's great. Probably for you and your friends' own enjoyment. Not to go pass out to people randomly, so, you know, it's just ridiculous. Just one of those memes that everybody picks up that thinks, I think it makes their fucking lives a little bit more interesting. Dude, I totally got a laced joint, bro. Is your relationship monogamous? No, it isn't. I swear, man, that I got a shoe that was laced. A shoe, dude? Somebody laced your shoe? Holy shit, bro. Oh, shit, bro. Directors from New Zealand typically have very good senses of humor. Peter Jackson and Taika Waititi. I don't know who Taika Waititi is, but I know Peter Jackson. And I do appreciate his sense of humor. Especially in Brain Dead, man. Holy smokes. Paul, I was going to be down there for that bong rip competition today, but my plane was hijacked by Muslim terrorists, and I was forced to fight them off and rescue the plane. Hey, it's all right, dude. I understand. Dude, that's a totally good excuse. Just get here tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just be here tomorrow. That's fine. Yeah, I'm sure you can rebook. I mean, I'm sure you're such a hero. I'm sure that, whatever airline you were flying is going to immediately give you some free miles and shit, so. When off camera, Paul always eats with his hands, no matter how sloppy the food. Paul continuously whimpers as he shovels food into his mouth. How do you know that? How do you know that, Moppy Puppy? I'm starting to think Moppy Puppy might be somebody I know, somebody in my life. You're revealing your hand. You're revealing your hand, Moppy Puppy. I'm starting to see the truth of you. I'm starting to understand where you're really coming from here, bro. If you could have one childhood pet back for a week, which would it be? Oh man, that's a tough one. A childhood pet. Probably Casey, man. Casey was awesome. Casey was my first dog. She was an Irish setter, golden retriever mix, and she lived out in the country with us when we lived out in the country and had just fields and shit surrounding us. And man, dude, I used to have the best time with Casey. Casey was like the greatest outdoor dog ever. She just like would be right by your side. She'd scout ahead and find things, and like she's just smart as fuck, really lovable, and like just really just capable as a tracker and like a companion out in the wild and shit. I used to have a great time with Casey. You wouldn't do it so you wouldn't have to lose them again. I mean, I've already lost Casey. It'd just be nice to see her again after all these years, you know? Even if she had to go away for after a week again, I'd probably do it. It would be sad to say goodbye again, but you know, I've known what it's been like to not have Casey around since I was about 7 years old or 8 years old. So yeah, Casey was an awesome dog. I've had a lot of little awesome dogs, so I could bring back some trolley pets, man. I could bring Mackenzie back and troll everybody with Mackenzie. You know, I miss his little ass too, even if he was a nightmare. Had a little dog named Mackenzie who was just a, you know, like, once again, this is when we still lived out in the country. So Mackenzie was fond of bringing what we called road apples, horse shit, because a lot of people out in the country had horses and stuff. So Mackenzie would find a pile of dried horse shit and just come trotting into the house and chew up some horse shit on the ground. He also was a chicken killing piece of shit. So at night he would sneak into the chicken coop and kill a chicken, not to eat it, just because he was, you know, a mean little bastard. But he was a troll. He was in, like, I guess we had similar personalities in a way. He was definitely more like me than anybody else in the family. Just constantly trolling, constantly doing stuff he knew he wasn't supposed to be doing, pushing the envelope and stuff. Do you find dogs are a lot of hassle for a young person, for instance, leaving them alone while you go to work or holiday? I mean, it's just part of what you got to do. You can't leave them alone on a vacation. Like maybe a cat, you can do that. Like if you've got cats, you can set them up to where like they're gonna be fine for a week. You know, just put a big cat box out. Put big, cats aren't like dogs. They're not gonna sit there and eat food until they're just like there's nothing left. They'll eat a little bit here, or you can have those. I guess you probably could leave a dog at home if you had the proper stuff, because they make these automatic feeders and stuff. But yeah, for Dinor, we either take him with us or we board him somewhere. So that's just what you've got to do. You've got to make sure that they're taken care of when you travel. Leaving them at home when you're at work usually isn't a problem. Dogs sleep most of their life anyway. So while you're at work, they usually just kind of chill, nap, chew on some rawhides or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it's like I used to house sit my mom's cats all the time. She would set them up, but every couple of days, if they were gone for a week or two, every couple of days I would go by there, make sure everything was okay, top off the food and water, even though it was automatically distributed, play with the cats a little bit, and then leave again. So I don't really care. Like dog breeds, like I've when I lived in Fresno, I worked at a place called ARF. Well, not worked. I volunteered time at a place called ARF, and I got to work with all kinds of different dogs there and meet all kinds of different dogs. And all dogs are awesome, you know. If you come across a mean dog or a dog with like really like horrible anxiety or something, they were made that way by human beings. They were mistreated or abandoned or neglected at some point and made that way. Are any of your pets fat? No, Dinor is not fat. Dinor is just about, like, we get told all the time that his weight is good when we take him in. So he's in good shape. I guess I have had animals that were fat. Back in California when I was married, my little dog Yoshi was a little tub of shit, like a little seal. And we were always being told that she needed to lose, 2 or 3 pounds. She was a little tubby. What are you gonna do? Yeah, that's a harsh thing, man. I just thought about Yoshi. Just ugly things, man. Like leaving your dogs, that was one of the things I had to do when I left my marriage. And it was the right thing to do. Taking them away from their house and from her at that point in time would have been just like a total shit move. But I found out when I went back to California that they got out of our backyard, which they did a lot back when I was still there. And it was a rainy night when they got out, and they got hit by a car, and my little dog Koopa died, and Yoshi was hit but survived. So that happened like a year ago, but nobody wanted to tell me about it. So that kind of sucked to hear when I went back home. Yeah. I found out when I went back to California just recently, visited with my mom. Fucking sucks, man. It sucks to hear stuff like that. Just brings on like a wave of guilt. So, but there was nothing I could do. You know, it wasn't in my hands anymore. I don't blame anybody for it. Like I said, he was just that way. You know, he was always testing the fence, always wanted to escape and get out and explore the neighborhood and shit. And it happened so many fucking times. And we shored up the fence, and you know, we'd let him out in the backyard, and he'd find another way to get out, and a loose board we didn't know about, or you know, somebody that came to look at something in the backyard would leave that gate slightly ajar, and he'd push it open, and off they'd go. So them getting out again was bound to happen. The fact that it happened on a rainy night when people couldn't see them and got them hit, that's just bad luck, you know. Bad turn of events. But they were, you know, young dogs when I left, not older dogs. I think they were both 3 years old when I left, so certainly had a lot of life ahead of them. And it sucks to ask somebody, oh, you know, not to pry or whatever, but how are Yoshi and Koopa doing? And their eyes fill up with tears when they tell you, you know, Koopa's dead. It's like, what? How did that happen? You know, he's 5 years old. How did that happen? He got hit by a car. Oh, sounds like Koopa. You ever heard that saying, you can never go home again? That's one of the reasons why. You know, when you go home, it's always a mixed bag. There's always the joy of seeing the people you haven't seen for a while, and then hearing the news that you don't hear because you no longer live there and people don't want to trouble you with it. Part of going home. Or at least going to where your roots are, or whatever the fuck, or where your roots were. Hot. Yeah. Super attractive. You saw 3 lice? Damn. Here. Help me get them. Let me get the lice, dude. Moppy puppy. You're such a mean bastard. Your thoughts on Jamie Foxx playing Spawn? I don't know. TJ seems to be cautiously optimistic about it, but I'm not. I think it's going to be horrible. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Why is there a tattoo that says crazy on your scalp? To match my damaged tattoo that I'm gonna get. That's my next tattoo, guys. I'm gonna get damaged across my forehead right here. I actually think if I ever got a face tat, it would be really cool to get a really detailed third eye. You know, I would consider doing that. And it would cover up this birthing scar I've got too, which I don't think looks all that great. Yeah, dude. Get a third eye, dude. I'd have to have him do it like to where it would look okay when I do this though, when I like furrow this brow. But yeah, I could get the eye of woe up there. I think that would be pretty dope. Did you hear about the IGN editor that got fired? No. I don't know why I would. It actually looks like there's damage on that forehead. What is that red spot? Serious question. That is a birthing scar. It's no damage. It's just a scar that I'll have for the rest of my life. I guess, like, as I was coming out of my mother, when my head had to go through the slot in her pelvis, my head was bigger than the slot in her pelvis, so it scraped my face, primarily starting from about here down as I came out. And when you're like a young baby, your head is very soft and malleable, so it created like a big splotch on my forehead that'll be there forever. Yeah. I just thought your face was red. I mean, yeah, I'm a splotchy looking dude anyway, but this splotch has a story behind it. The She-Ra controversy. It must not be that controversial because I don't even know. Paul, too big to come out of it. Dude, my mom was like a pygmy. I was a giant beast of a baby, and she was like a tiny little person. So, it's a goddamn miracle I didn't kill her. I don't know why they didn't do a C-section on her with me. God, man, so many of you just give up. It's like you're new to these, you know, and you don't know that they, from time to time, I get a phone call and shit, and to just hang out. Just hang out. You know, when the screen, instead of thinking like, press F a bunch of times and then leave, just wait for like 5 minutes max. You know? Wait for like 5 minutes max. And I'll be right back. Like, so many of you just run for Z Hills immediately. It's like, what the fuck? What is the deal? I mean, I'm fine with you doing the F thing, but yeah, you guys just freak the fuck out when it goes down, and it's like when on these phone streams especially, you got to just expect it. Like at least once during a stream, it's gonna go down. I'm gonna get a phone call. Somebody's gonna call me up. I'm gonna have to answer it. Fart. Fart. Dude, I'm not checking out one of them vampire tours. If I want a vampire tour of New Orleans, I'll have Galen take me on one, because I'm sure he knows all the spots and all the best ones. Like, I still need to take the Galen tour of New Orleans. We just gotta find a day, man. Maybe we'll make it some Patreon content. That'll incentivize us both to actually get off our butts and do it one of these days. I'll call up Galen and be like, look, dude, I want to make a patron episode where me and you fucking tour New Orleans together. And have him take me on the fucking tour. Yeah, mosquitoes are the vampires of New Orleans for sure.
what's Galen like in real life? What you see is what you get with Galen. I mean, I don't. Most of my interactions with Galen have taken place in person now because I've been around him for long enough for that to be the case. But I don't remember him being all that different than he is as an online dude. Galen is a vampire himself, hence why I would ask him to take me on the tour and not you. And not some yokel running a vampire tour in fucking New Orleans. Okay, so this stream now belongs to Ernie Gang. When did you realize you were bisexual? When I was very, very young. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I was aware of the concept of different sexualities, but I knew that I was attracted to boys when I was 6 years old. I knew I was attracted to girls when I was 6 years old. And that never changed throughout my entire life. When puberty came around, I felt exactly the same way. So yeah, I knew very early. About as early back as I can remember. So. When you told the story of the screwdriver put in your butt when you were little, was that because of your bisexual? I mean, that kid, which was my next door neighbor and best friend John, and I messed around all the time. That wasn't the only time. That was just the time we got caught. So yeah. I've told the story of Amanda that lived down the street from me. She was a little girl, 1 year older than me. I messed around with her too. So it's one of those things. That vap is sweet. Can I buy it? Can I buy it? You can't buy mine, but you can go buy one if you want it. Tell the story about the screwdriver. I mean, I've told it a bunch of times before. Basically, we were in the back seat of the back of my dad's truck. Or actually, it was a trailer with a float on it. We were in this trailer, and my mom heard us giggling over there, so she came to check on what we were up to and looked in there. And I had my ass straight up in the air, and John was sticking a screwdriver into my ass, and then he like sat back and was just like looking, and I was just like hee hee hee, waving my ass around. I was about 6. So I got in trouble. Oh yeah, we got in trouble for it for sure. Like, she pulled us out of there and like sent John home, and then called John's parents, told him what happened. He got a spanking probably because his dad was a total fucking prick. I don't remember getting a spanking for it, but I remember getting a stern talking to about how you shouldn't do that, and that's yucky and it's icky, and you don't do those sorts of things at all, and you don't do them with little boys, and you just don't. So good, strong negative reinforcement from my parents. Does your life change much when you come out? No, not really. I mean, it's a little weird. One of the weird things, if I'm honest with you guys, is that immediately, like, and I'm not saying I'm against this. In fact, I've appreciated it a couple of the times that it's happened, I guess, but like a bunch of people in our audience that are bisexual reached out to me. A lot of them sent like dick pics of themselves. And on one hand, I'm not adverse to looking at those, but it is just weird to have people sending you shit like that, because you got to understand, like, part of like remaining in the closet means training yourself not to look at shit like that. So I guess that's been the biggest change, is that I'm trying to get over the guilt of looking at shit that lies within my wheelhouse, you know what I mean? What? if years ago you messed around with a man once, I don't know, dude. I don't come up with those. You got to figure those things out for yourself. I can be of no help. Your date box is overloaded now. Nice. I mean, no, I don't really look at it that way. But I mean, just trying to learn to be okay with being open with that, I guess, is the hardest thing. I I kind of thought at first that it would just kind of evaporate, but all of that nonsense that you tell yourself hangs around, you know. I don't know if it was a Phillips or a flathead, dude. Couldn't tell you. What's the weather like today? It's sunny, hot, pretty muggy, but there is a nice little breeze blowing. I can show you the trees here. And you can see the breeze floofing up them trees, so it's not horrible out here, man. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this because in about 15 or 20 minutes, Scotty will be here to take me over to TJ's, to the studio, to do Flash Fried. So I gotta go take Dynor down for a potty and put my shoes on and shit. So I'll see you guys next time. All right, and if you're a patron, stay tuned for Flash Fried, which should be soon. Peace.